The storm hit with a deafening roar, tearing through the canopy. Trees groaned and shifted, their branches twisting like living limbs. Sophia screamed, "Hold on to each other!" The family locked hands, forming a human chain as the wind whipped around them, threatening to tear them apart. Sophia felt the grip of her children slipping, their knuckles white against the gale. Ahmed planted his feet, bracing his weight against the onslaught, pulling the chain taut. Then, as quickly as it had begun, the wind died. The transition was absolute. No rustle of leaves, no distant thunder. The silence that followed was heavy and unnatural, pressing against their ears. They stood in the heart of the deep forest, disoriented and breathless. A thick, swirling fog rolled in from the shadows, erasing the path behind them. The towering trees blocked out the sky, and the air turned biting cold. The family stood motionless, their hands still locked, scanning the gray wall of mist. Yahya whispered, "I feel like something is watching us." The fog tightened around them, turning the forest into a cage of shifting white vapor. They moved cautiously, boots crunching on damp moss until the fog thinned. Before them stood a massive, ancient stone slab embedded deep in the earth. Glowing runes pulsed across its surface, casting rhythmic light against the dark trunks. As they approached, the light intensified, hovering in the air to form a riddle. "I am something that grows larger the more you take away from me." "What am I?" Maria frowned, tracing the glowing characters with her eyes. "How can something get bigger when you remove pieces of it?" she asked, her voice tight with confusion. Sophia suggested, "Is it time?" Ahmed shook his head, his gaze scanning the forest floor for clues. The light pulsed faster, the heat radiating from the stone warming their faces. Yahya stared at the ground, his eyes widening as he looked at a patch of dirt. His face lit up. "I know," he declared. "It is a hole." The moment the word left his lips, the runes flared with blinding intensity. The stone slab split down the middle with a deep, grinding sound that vibrated through their chests. A hidden path opened, stretching into the dark. A soft, golden light enveloped them, and a voice echoed, "Well done. You have used your minds." They moved deeper into the hidden passage, the golden light of the gemstone guiding their way. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth and something wild. Suddenly, the sound of rhythmic, heavy footsteps echoed. They stopped dead. The family stood in a tight cluster, hearts hammering against their ribs. From the shadows, a wolf-like beast emerged, its form massive and looming. Its eyes glowed with a piercing, unnatural blue light. Sophia recoiled, her breath hitching as she pulled the children behind her. Ahmed stepped forward, his muscles coiled. But the creature did not growl. It did not lunge. It simply sat, blocking their path, watching them with an expectant, unblinking gaze. The silence stretched, agonizing and thick. Sophia's hand trembled as she gripped Ahmed's arm. Just as Ahmed shifted his weight to strike, a voice echoed, "Not everything that appears frightening is an enemy." Ahmed's knuckles turned white as he gripped his staff, but he did not move. Maria stepped forward, her eyes fixed on the beast's luminous blue gaze. "Perhaps it needs our help," she whispered. The creature lowered its head, exhaling a puff of frost that swirled in the stagnant air. Sophia's trembling eased. Yahya took a tentative step, his hand shaking, his fingers outstretched. The distance between them felt like a chasm. He reached out, his palm hovering inches from the creature's dense, coarse fur. He pressed forward, closing the gap. The moment his skin made contact, the beast did not bite. Instead, it dissolved into a cascade of shimmering, golden light. They stood together in the center of the path, lungs expanding with deep, ragged breaths of relief. They looked at one another, believing the trial was finally over. The silence returned, but this time, it felt peaceful. The relief was short-lived. A low, guttural vibration hummed through the soles of their boots, growing into a violent shudder that rattled their teeth. The ground beneath them buckled, the earth heaving upward like a living thing in agony. Before anyone could shout a warning, a jagged fissure ripped through the center. The soil groaned, a sound of tearing roots and shifting stone, as the floor of the forest simply ceased to exist. Sophia reached for the children, her fingers grasping at empty air. Ahmed lunged forward, but the ground gave way beneath his feet. The world tilted sideways. Gravity lost its grip on the forest floor, and they were pulled downward into the absolute suffocating darkness below. The forest above remained silent, the trees closing in over the empty, gaping hole, as the earth sealed itself shut.